Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarubini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahirangaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Atha Tritiyodhyayaha
Atha Tritiyodhyayaha.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha
Shri Bhagavanuvacha.
Shloka number 20. Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim
Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim
Astita janakadayaha
astitha janakadayaha
Lokasangrahamevapi
lokasangrahamevapi
Sampashyan kartumarhasi
sambhashyan kartumarhasi.
Even if you are a jnani, you ought to do karma. Like Janaka and others. Janaka, Vamadeva, Adipadat, others also, Janaka, Vamadeva, etc. They are all jnanis. In spite of jnanam, they continue to perform karma. They continue to stay in their ashrama, perform the karma as demanded by the ashrama, varna ashrama, vyavastha. So similarly, hey Arjuna, you also have to do your karma. And you belong to Grihastha ashrama, Kshatriya varna. Even if you claim, if you yourself to be a jnani, you have to do karma. For what purpose? Loka sangraham, for the welfare of the people. Loka sangraham. So we'll read from here. Arjuna was a leader. Yes, Arjuna, leader. Therefore, people, they look up to Arjuna. In fact, he is a model for many people. People consider Arjuna a dharmika purusha, a nobleman, a great leader. People, the prajas, the citizens, they follow Arjuna. They want to emulate Arjuna because he's a model. So, therefore, whatever Arjuna does, the others, his followers will follow. Therefore, therefore, he has got responsibility. He has responsibility in guiding the people properly. Therefore, here, Bhagavan says Arjuna was a leader. In Arjuna's case, the people had to be protected. Arjuna was a leader, whether he liked it or not. He's a leader, a great leader, known for his, not only for his fighting skills, but known for his the sense of dharma. Even if he himself thought he was not a leader, people looked upon him as one. Yes. Therefore, he had to do what was expected of a leader. There are three types of leaders. One type of leader is the opportunist, who becomes a leader to promote a particular cause in which he or she has a personal interest. Nowadays, we have many such leaders. Community leaders tend to be of this sort. Temples and churches usually get built in this way. A person who is successful in the community comes forward and it's a particular project. However, because others also want to be leaders, problems among various members of the community are inevitable. Thus, when there is an opportunity available, a person who wants power and who has the leisure and resources required will organize a situation so that he or she becomes the leader. So, opportunist leader. When an opportunist wields power in this way, it is usually an ego trip or in the interest of money. Generally speaking, our societies are led by such people. They become leader with vested interest. So, therefore, the leaders are vested leaders, vested interest leaders, opportunist. Another type of leader who is even more dangerous is idealist. The opportunist has no ideal other than his or her ego and sets sail purely according to the direction of the wind. Such a person can switch political parties, switch over parties simply by crossing the floor. The idealist, on the other hand, is not on a power trip. This type of leader looks upon society as being full of problems that have to be solved by him or her, for which the person has a particular system, political, economic, religious, and so on. Certain leaders, for example, tend to think that they alone have the answers and everyone else is a heathen whom they alone must save. The dangerous leadership. In other words, an idealist is one who thinks that the answers can only come through him or her. This is why such a person can be real in danger to a society. Communist, terrorist, and nationalist are all idealists who make such contentions as my country is the greatest country, my culture is the greatest culture, my religion is the greatest religion, or my political or economic system is the only answer. An opportunist can easily be discovered, whereas the idealist converts more and more people to his or her way of thinking. When an idealist talks, there is so much conviction, so much heart and mind being brought to bear on the topic that those who are gullible will also go along with whatever is being said. The idealist is one who has sold himself or herself on a particular idea and is prepared to die for it. Later being a case in this point. His blue blood theory was pure idealism and caused a colossal destruction of millions of people. He really believed that he was the one who was born to protect and rule the world, and the people of the Aryan race were superior. Once this idea struck him, Hitler had no rest, nor did he allow others to rest. Under the spell of this idealism, they carried out his atrocious orders. Throughout the history of the world, we find that wherever there were idealists, there was war and colossal destruction. Idealism creates religious and political fanatics, and these people create havoc as the history books reveal. The third type of leader is the one who leads, not because he or she wants to lead, but because there are some people following. Such a person lives his or her life always ready to reshuffle his or her ideas in order to live according to what is true. The person may not even know that he or she is a leader. Thus, whether it is to one's liking or not, one becomes a leader. This type of leading that makes one a real leader. And this was the kind of leader Arjuna was. So, therefore, Arjuna himself, whether he knows himself to be a leader or not, is a leader. People follow. There are followers. Here, Krishna said to Arjuna, whether you like it or not, there are people who look up to you as a leader. Arjuna was the archer of the age. He was the archer of the age. It's true that no one equal to Arjuna. Maybe Karna or Ekalavya, but anyway, Arjuna is the top archer of the age and was looked upon by the people as a trendsetter. He was supposed to set an example and was not therefore someone who could just walk away from it all. That was not his prarabdha. If Arjuna had been a loner and had wanted to become a sannyasi, Krishna would not have talked to him about the appropriate of karma yoga and so on. But here but Arjuna is not an ordinary person, he is not alone. Arjuna belongs to the lineage of the kings, dynasty. It's a Kshatriya. Kshatriya belongs to the particular dynasty. Krishna would have agreed to Arjuna's becoming a sannyasi, even though he knew there would be some problems if he is an individual. This, however, was not Arjuna's situation. Being a leader and looked up to by all the people, he had to set a proper example. And if he set a wrong example, people would follow it. Therefore, to protect the people, Arjuna had to do karma even if he considered himself a jnani. That is the point. That's what Loka Sangrah me vapi. Because people, they try to emulate Arjuna. So, since people follow him, therefore, he had to set himself a right example. But that was how his prarabdha has helped in this situation. So, Arjuna's prarabdha is such that he cannot take to sannyasa just like an individual does. Even if the individual is not prepared, if he takes sannyasa, that is his problem. That may not affect the others. But in this case, in Arjuna's case, it affects. If he gives up the kingdom and takes sannyasa, it will affect the kingdom, the people. All the people would be affected. They are his followers. Therefore, even if Arjuna thinks he is a jnani, he should do karma. And if he was a karma yogi, protecting the world was his karma yoga, because he was a leader, and that was what to be done. Action is not supposed to knowledge. Important. Action and knowledge. Here, action is not opposed. Knowledge is a means for moksha. With regard to moksha, jnanam is the only means. After jnanam, if the person does action, that action, the karma, will not make him an ajnani again. Jnani is jnani. So action, because he does action, it will not limit the person. It will not make him a samsari. Therefore, a jnani also can do action. Because a jnani does action, it doesn't mean his jnanam has diminished, or it has gone away. So action is not opposed to knowledge. The question may arise here, why the world is to be protected? All that is involved here is that you find yourself in a situation with duties to perform. Someone has to be in this particular position and you happen to be that person. If you are not there, someone else would be. There is no choice involved here. Arjuna did not choose to be the son of Pandu. Was his prarabdha. He happened to be born into this particular royal family, dynasty. Therefore, he had certain jobs to do. He was born in a Kshatriya Kula, Kshatriya clan, and that too, the royal family. So, Kshatriya and Grihastha. Therefore, what choice he has? So, it is because of prarabdha, born in a royal family, in a Kshatriya family. Therefore, he had certain duties to perform. Certain duties to be performed as commanded by his status, his kula, his family. Thus, Krishna said, whether you are jnani or karma yogi, here is a situation for you to do karma. Even if you are jnani, you can do karma. If you are karma yogi, anyway, you have to do karma. So, karma is not opposed to knowledge, because even if you are a jnani, because you are not a doer. Jnana means kartatva, avimanam not there. That is what jnanam is. Akarta. Akarta doesn't mean the person will not do karma. The person was thinking, I am the doer. After jnanam, in spite of doing, he knows I am not the karta. The kartrutva bada, negation of kartrutvam. Kartrutvam brings all limitations. The limitation is what is kartrutvam. Kartrutvam means abhimana with the upadhi, shariramana sangata. Aham atma purnaha, that because of this abhimanam, as though becomes parichinna, limited. The limitedness is samsara. So because of jnanam, kartrutva abhimanam not there. In fact, that is what is jnanam is. Sarva karma sannyasi means kartrutva tyaga, jnanena. So, since as a jnani, you are akarta, so you doing karma is anyway not opposed to jnanam. Karma can be done even if you know that you are not the karta. That is not going to affect the person or jnanam of the person. Or put another way, karma is not opposed to knowledge, nor is it a means to knowledge. Because by doing karma, you cannot gain moksha. Akritaha mokshaha karmana na lavate. Therefore, if you have no viveka, karma can bind you. Whereas it can also be a means for purifying your mind if you make it a raga, if you make it a yoga by a change of attitude. So viveka is not there. If viveka not there, karma can bind you. And same karma as a sadhana, it is meant for antakarana shuddhi. That is called karma yoga. By making into a yoga, karma becomes a yoga by bringing about a change of attitude. So anyway, karma is not opposed to jnanam. Only if you have viveka is important. If viveka not there, karma can bind. Viveka there, karma cannot bind. Atma and Atma viveka is, how can karma bind? So, therefore, you can do karma lokasagra neva. So that is important. And here itself, Swamiji has said that you are a leader and you set an example for others. Knowingly or unknowingly, you become a model, an example for others. And therefore, people follow whatever the great people they do. That become the pramanam, that become the means, the norms for the people to follow. So that is what is said in the next shloka. Let us read. The next shloka, Krishna told Arjuna why he should do his duty. Let's read the shloka. Yadyadha charati shreshtaha
यद्यदाचरति श्रेष्ठः
tattadevettaro janaha
तत्तदेवेतरो जनः
sayat pramanam kurute.
स यत् प्रमाणं कुरुते
Lokastadanuvartate.
लोकास्तदनुवर्तते
Yatyat shreshtaha acharati tatat eva itaraha janaha acharati. Whatever shreshtaha is Shishta Purushaha, important person, a very prominent person, Sreshtaha, or the Uttama Purusha, great people, noble people, Sreshtaha, Shishta Purusha. They are important because they are Shishta. Their achara, their conduct, their life, that because of that they become Sreshta. They become Sreshta, they become prominent, they become important. So therefore, Sreshtaha, whatever the important people, the prominent people, because of their knowledge and conduct, they become prominent. So whatever they do, other people follow because they believe that person. They believe him is a model, therefore people follow. They have Shraddha in that person. They have complete Shraddha in the person, that the person, whatever the person does, that is a norm. That is how a person should be. People learn from that person. People learn how to conduct themselves from such people. Sreshta Purusha. That is why Sreshta Purusha give example of great leaders, noble people. the historic characters, a man of character. There are many in the Purana and all, there are such characters. That is the model. Example, Rama, for example. Rama the king, how he ruled the kingdom without any partiality, impartial. All the praja were happy under his rule. That's a model. For Raja, Rama is a model. So Sreshtaha, whatever Sreshta Purusha does, whatever Rama does as a king, that all other kings follow are supposed to follow. Similarly, in all walks of life. So whatever the important people, the prominent people, they do, that becomes a pramanam, a naam for the others to follow. Sayat pramanam kurute, by the action becomes pramanam. Whatever they set it as a naam, knowingly or unknowingly. Lokaha tad anuvartate. Lokaha, people, the people of the world. Lokaha, loke bhavaha. Those who live in the world, they follow that. Whatever an important person does, that alone the other people do. Whatever that person sets as proper, pramanam. Here, pramanam means naam, not means of knowledge. Sayat pramanam kurute, lokaha tadanavartate. The world of people follows. Sreshta here means who is considered to be important by other members of the society. A leader to be reckoned with, like a king, a prince, judge, or an officer of some kind. An important, a prominent person. No, either known for his power, position, life, conduct, values, etc. The father of a given household is such a person, a role model. The word acharati in this shloka refers to what one does in terms of how one lives, how one acts and reacts to the variety of situations encountered in day-to-day life, how he handles a problem, how he conducts himself socially, how he interacts with others, how he tackles the problems. So, like that's why Arjuna asked, like the second chapter, Siddha Prajna Lakshanani. Even though Krishna did not mention any name, Arjuna also did not ask. He just asked the Siddha Prajna Lakshanani. However, Siddha Prajna, a man of study wisdom, he gave how he conducts himself so that Arjuna could follow. Even Arjuna wanted a role model. Even Arjuna wanted a role model or the characteristics of such people so that he can emulate. So, similarly here also, whatever the Sreshta Purusha does, that becomes the norm. The person who is looked up to sets the trend for everyone else lives. That is what in this, now the current situation, all the heroes of the cinema, they become the models. They become the model and therefore there are many fans following. For the fans, he is a model. The fans try to emulate the life of the hero, the model. That they set a trend. People always look up to someone, and whatever that person looks upon as a standard is what they follow. Here the word pramana means the measure. Pramana, the word is derived from madhatu, measure. That's why I said nam. Nam is better translation. Nam, measure of what is right and what is wrong. The same word we used earlier to refer to a means of knowledge. But here that is not the meaning. If a king looks upon a Veda as a pramana, then most of his subjects will look upon it in the same way. This is exactly what happened in ancient India when Ashoka and other kings came under the influence of Buddhist monks. Because these kings no longer looked up to Veda as a pramana, a lot of people shifted to Buddhism. So therefore the king, the very powerful people, they set example. Whatever they do, that becomes a trend set. Thus, converting people to any new interpretation of Vedic religion was very easy in India in those days. All that had to be done was to convert the king. If the main person is converted, all others will naturally get converted. Whatever became a pramana for the king, that becomes a pramana for his subjects. Because people generally have neither the time nor the inclination to look into religious matters. They don't stand on their own. They tend to follow someone else and can easily be carried away by carried away merely because the leader had set a particular trend. Mao, for example, told the people if they want to be efficient and accomplish their ends, they should read his red book every day. In this way, he made a scripture out of it. In India, too, it is said that by reading a particular verse or chapter every day, you will get this or that. The difference is that Mao's red book is not a scriptural authority, it's a worldly authority, a Lokika Pramana. It is not a Veda, Vedika Pramana. Any system or book becomes a Pramana if you think it is going to solve all problems of the world, including your own, of course. There are people, for example, who cannot go to the bank or do anything else unless they consult the I Ching or tarot cards. This is a Pramana. The same way, whatever leader does, everyone else will do. Whatever he looks upon as his guidebook is Pramana. Others will look upon as a Pramana, even if it is a red book. You will find that every revolution has some kind of book behind it. Mein Kampf, My Struggle, was a book Hitler's followers read and were inspired by it. It became the Pramana for them. Hitler's entire ideology is there, including what kept exactly Aryan rule is, how the Aryan race is bound to rule, and the superiority of the Aryan race. Whatever the Pramana, Logika or Vedika, if it is considered a Pramana by the Sreshta, people will follow it. So here is a good, different interpretation. I mean, not different. It's a Pramana meanings norm. Whatever they do, that becomes the norms for the people, standard for the people to follow. But here, this whatever they take it as Pramana, Sreshta Purusha, that becomes a Pramana for the people also. That way also it is. It's right. It's good, proper interpretation only. So Swamiji takes that way. Whatever they consider as Pramana, that becomes a Pramana for the rest of the people, the followers. Similarly, if the king says the Veda is not a Pramana, then the people will give it up. And if he says it is a Pramana, the people look into it. This is why Krishna told Arjuna, whether he liked it or not, he was a leader. And if he walked out, he would find that everyone else would give up, also would give up. Suppose, however, that Krishna had encouraged Arjuna to go and turning the horses around, drove into Rishikesh. All the other soldiers would also have turned around. They would have pitched camps there because Arjuna was there. All the subjects would also have to would have gone to Rishikesh. If Arjuna wore a certain type of clothing, everyone would have dressed in the same way. If he wore Rudraksha beads, everyone would have them. Therefore, Krishna said, this is how it is, Arjuna. Whatever you do is exactly what others are going to do. Because you are a Sreshta, a leader, someone who is important. Because Arjuna's decision would have far-reaching consequences, as a model. So he had to look at his situation very carefully before he decided anything. So it is one has to be highly responsible. Krishna also assured Arjuna that he would lose nothing by doing his duty. If he was a jnani, his action would be based on his prarabdha and would create no problems for him. If he was an ajnani, an action was definitely to be done because it was his duty. So either way, he has to do. This was Krishna's whole point here. So we'll stop here. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha.